Achraf Hakimi, the footballer at PSG, is divorcing his wife, and apparently he put all his assets in his mother's name, so she's gonna get nada. In addition to that, on top of that, he's apparently, allegedly, trying to get half of her assets. Woo. Well, today we have Tatiana Budokan, a pop culture commentator. I'm your host, Ken Mo. You're watching Brand Video Pro. And before I even say something, I'm going to say, let's get into the video. Before I say that, guys, give me some likes on this channel. We don't get likes. We don't get enough likes. And it'll really help us out, and it'll give me incentive to make more content. So, guys, check this out. I want to make a documentary on on entertainment, the business of entertainment, right? I'm going to pick a unique subject matter. You guys can even leave a comment down below. Let me know a subject matter you want me to focus on and make a 15-minute, maybe 30-minute documentary to really captivate you. But you have to do one of two things or both. Number one, leave a like at the very least. So if I get 50 likes in this video, I will make that documentary. Number two, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you would like me to break down. What subject matter in the business of entertainment that you want me to cover. Leave that comment down below. I'm your host, Ken Mo. You're watching Brand Video Pro. Let's get into the video. Tatiana, nice to have you.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. So in the news, Ashraf Hakimi, the PSG footballer, his wife is divorcing him, and apparently he put all his assets in his mother's name and he owns nothing. And this means she thought she was going to get half. She's not getting nothing, and they're claiming that he is entitled to half of what she has because of he's not worth anything. What are your thoughts? Let's talk about it.
Well, I don't even know where to start. So from the articles I have read, he basically has asked PSG to give 80% of his salary straight to his mother's bank account, and he has 20%. This is approximately $8 million a year. So his mother gets 80, he has 20. So he doesn't have nothing, but he doesn't have a lot, and he doesn't have what a famous footballer usually has. So that being said, there are so many debates whether this is a good idea or a bad idea. Like, people are talking about prenups, people are talking about what he's done, because at the end of the day, you put everything in your mother's name, which is great, but then do you make yourself vulnerable to inheritance tax?
So here's the thing, right? This is what I was saying, that this was a stupid idea. Okay, so a few things. His mother came out and said she knows nothing about this, right? She knows nothing about this, and if that's the case, well, good for her son. Let me actually quickly read the article. According to Linda Akeji, his mother has finally reacted. Where is it? If he has taken any action to protect himself, I am unaware of, according to Morocco World News, quoted his mother. Yeah, apparently she's unaware of it, but she's like, it's good that he's taking those actions. But from a business standpoint, in my view, this is so dumb. It's so stupid. If as a business person, in fact, you're supposed to put everything in a trust. So Rockefeller said, own nothing, control everything. So the money is paid. You start up a business. The business is owned by a trust. And I think it's about $8,000 to set up a trust, depending on the type of trust you have, maybe a living trust. There are different types of trust, right? So you set up this trust, and all the money, whatever, it's a company, your company gets paid for the service. It's cheaper to get your company to be paid if you're paid as an employee. And I don't know if this is the area that I need to speak to someone in the football world, because I don't know if footballers are paid as a salary, and that it's like mandated that they have to be paid as a salary. But me, if I was a footballer, I would say no, don't pay me, pay my company, because once you take a personal fee, you have to pay tax on that, and your personal tax is worse than business tax. So yeah. So I would say, set up a company, it's owned by the trust, and the payment goes to the trust or goes to the company. So when you get sued, whether it's a divorce, whether you hit someone's car, whether anything happens, and they come after you, well, I don't have any money because I don't own anything legally. That's kind of what rich people do. And there's so many people that ruin their whole life's work, all their business, because they don't do this, or they don't even secure their assets in an LLC, So this is where he went wrong. Putting in his mother's name means that if he has siblings, first
And
of all,
he has siblings.
how many siblings does he have?
2, so there are 3 total.
Wow. Okay. So first of all, when someone dies, there's a whole probate period. And I know in America, there's a backlog from COVID, which is like 18 months minimum. So those assets are frozen, and the courts have to process it through probate to determine, if who gets the money, right? Once it goes through the whole probate system, especially if the people are arguing over the money, it takes longer. So once you go through the probate system, then it's now divided amongst the family. So by doing this, he switched it. Now he has to fight his siblings for his own hardcore money, as opposed to just getting a prenup, as opposed to just getting a trust, and your wife still doesn't get access to anything. So this is where I'm seeing it. This is why I say it's business-wise is stupid. Don't put anything in anybody's name. Put it in a trust or put it in an LLC at the minimum. You can even do it so that the company pays you. So PSG pays you if there's a stipulation that they have to pay you, and as an employee, fine. PSG pays you. Then you transfer the money you invest the money into your business that's still owned by a trust. Either way, you don't own anything. That's the whole idea. But I'd like to hear your thoughts.
No, and to add, I completely agree with you. And to add on top of that, there's, let's say he did not have siblings, there's taxes on inheritance in Europe. I don't know about the US, but I mean, he lives in Europe.
Right.
So it makes this decision even stupider. Sorry for my language, because not only, let's say he's on great terms with his siblings and everything's fine, but he'll have to pay a tax on his own money that he just gave his mom.
It's just like so many layers of dumb. And this is why people just need business acumen. People just need, an education in financial literacy. I have a whole channel called the University of Making Money. Go check that out. Go read that, because I have books that I say that you should read, link down below. And it's just sad because we hear a lot of these stories about footballers getting getting their money stolen from them. But it's so interesting how he thought he one-upped her and he won, right? But he's actually probably might have effed up himself.
Yeah, so he protected himself from her, but who knows if he protected himself from...
But he exposed himself to probably an even worse demon, right? Depending on your relationship with your siblings, but it's a very common thing for family to fight over money, especially in inheritance.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you mentioned, I mean, I think footballers should be watching your video and reading the books that you just mentioned and everything you just mentioned, because Achraf Hakimi is 24. He got married at 21. And football players, I mean, they get involved in their careers as athletes and they don't finish their education, or let alone have a college education.
Oh.
So I guess it's a bad business decision from someone who doesn't know.
Yeah, and so that's another thing, right? The industry, just like music, we talk a lot about music on this channel, but just like music, the people that are around him in the industry are predators, and so they will sort of they would tell them they will basically tell them how to invest their money, but these people are trying to, anybody that is showing you or is investing your money for you or is controlling your money, they're going to make themselves rich before they make you rich. And a lot of times they're not even going to bother making you rich. And so there's going to be a lot of people that are around him that are probably predators. So he thinks that he won, he got an L, but this might end up being a massive L. Luckily his mother is still alive, so he still has time to course correct. But it's... it is what it is.
This reminds me of a previous topic that you and I have spoken about, when Justin Bieber sold all of his music catalog. Like, what a bad decision, and he's only 29. So, you're right. The advisors around these people are taking care of themselves before they take care of their clients.
Right. So that's one area, right? The other area is from the wife's perspective. And I know like a lot of the men are like, yo, he won, he beat her. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All of that stuff. City boys up. They're saying all those things. And so I saw this video. I sent it to you. I don't know if you watched it. This woman talking about, getting a prenup. What are your thoughts on that? I'm going to play the video quickly.
So if you haven't heard, Moroccan soccer player Hakimi is engaged in this vicious divorce battle with his soon-to-be ex-wife over assets to be distributed upon a divorce. The problem is Hakimi took all of his assets and put them in his mama's name. Now, the fact that he did that's a whole nother video. I'm going to give you tips on how to make sure you never end up in this situation. Step 1. Get a prenup. I've talked about this before. I'm going to talk about it again. And you might be thinking, I don't have enough assets for a prenup. A prenup will mandate both parties to disclose what assets they have, where they're located, and whose name they're in. If she would have done that, she would have known from the beginning he has nothing in his name. Step 2, I want you to have a provision in your prenup that requires you to get paid out for every year that you are sitting at home taking care of the family and taking care of the kids. And you might be thinking, oh, I don't need to do that. Shut up. Shut up. Society is going to pressure you into a lot of things. Your love for the family is going to pressure you into a lot of things. And you need a payout in the event that you sacrifice your entire career and sit at home. Because you're not going to be able to jump back into the freaking work market with a gap in your resume. Step 3, and this is something I'm personally going to have in my prenup, have a payout clause for every child you bring into this world. And you might be thinking, oh, you're not doing a big job by bringing a child into this world. It's your duty. Shut up. Okay? Shut up. The mental, physical, emotional toll that's going to take on your body, on who you are as a person, it's going to change you forever. And let's be completely honest, when you are divorced and you have to go back into the dating market, they're going to treat you as a single mother with children very differently than a rich man who's divorced and has kids. It's not going to impact him or his life. It's going to impact you. So make sure you're compensated for it.
So yeah, what are your thoughts on not getting a prenup and women protecting themselves and the dynamics of a woman who sacrifices her career? Because a lot of women will be watching this. They might be career women. They're going to sacrifice their career to take care of the household. And, should a woman get half? Steph London posted that no woman who did not help a man in his grind up should get half. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so it's a tough subject. So I might disagree with how maybe extreme Steph London's views are, because at the end of the day, Ashraf Hakimi, for example, he has 2 kids, and his wife is an actress.
He has children?
Pardon me?
I didn't know this. I didn't know he has 2 kids.
He has 2 kids with this woman that he's divorcing.
Ooh.
That are very young. The one is born last year in 22 and one born in 2020, and he's very young.
Oh,
his wife is 12 years older than him.
Oh.
And she is an actress / model. I guess she's been out of work for a while. And I think when you give that up to raise a family, so you might not have directly contributed into whatever your husband's business is, but you're giving him that serene environment at home for him to thrive. So in a way, you are contributing to, even though you are not in the business specifically, like for example, Jeff Bezos' wife was, but you are supporting him in that sense. So I do think, okay, half maybe is a lot, but you are entitled to I think a pretty big financial support if that's what you're doing. Now, a prenuptial agreement is, I think it's crucial. Okay, so she said that in the video you sent me, how important is a prenuptial agreement, and I could not agree more. Because it's not just about money, it's just of the frame, we put in parameters of what will happen in case we separate, in case there's kids, in case there's a house, etc. So I think that's super important, and so weird if footballers or anyone famous did not sign this. So we don't have news at the moment whether they have a prenup or not. But if they don't, then the level of stupidity is even higher than we thought at the beginning.
Well, from just the words of the stuff about him putting the mother, putting in his mother's name, sounds like he doesn't have a prenup, because he thought that was the smart thing to do. It's almost like, I don't know, jungle justice in a way. Even though that's not really the word, but it's almost like he's trying to take matters into his own hands in an innovative way. But when you're young, you don't really know anything, and there are systems that are in place that actually can protect you had you sought out the right advice. So that's one thing. So as far as your comments on her having, I did not know that he had 2 children with her. I mean, that's crazy. So she sacrificed a lot, and people don't realize how much women really do sacrifice from their bodies. I saw a video the other day of a woman that says every time she has a kid, she loses a tooth. You know, there's postpartum depression. I have like a friend that lost her hair. It's still growing back. Her child is like 2. She has like a big ass like bald patch. People, their vaginas are torn. There's so many like things. Then also the depression, all of this stuff. So a lot of men, especially men that age that are like immature, don't understand the sacrifice that women are making to have children for them. So that's one thing, having the children. The second thing is taking care of the children, taking care of the children in the household. And it's crazy to me because you now start to understand why in America they're saying by 2030 45% of women will be single and childless. Because when we see stories like this, it's like, well, this man who is a footballer, who's extremely rich, not only does he not want to give his wife anything, but he wants to take half of what his wife earns. That's quite childish, ridiculous, so many words. So in my view, should he get half? Personally, if I was in his shoes, absolutely not. I'm not giving half. No, we're not doing that. But I'm not doing that. It's not happening. But being empathetic, being loving, knowing that this is someone that I actually loved, who took care of my children, who's probably going to continue to raise my children. I want my children to be raised in a healthy environment, even if I'm not present. I'm going to take care of that woman for the rest of her life. Or at the very least, for at least 18, until kids turn 18. But I'm going to take care of those children. I'm going to take care of that woman, because that woman is raising my kids. And even after the kids turn 18, she's still going to be around the kids to influence them. And you don't want a situation where the mother is breeding hatred and pouring bad seeds into your children's minds about you because she's still resentful of the fact that you did her wrong. That's the last thing you want it's toxic and it's immature. So me personally, if I was in his shoes, I'm going to take care of that woman. She's going to be kept, right? For the rest of her life, especially if I'm as rich as he is. But also I have financial literacy, and I probably won't spend the money that he's going to spend in the way he's going to spend it. So that kind of money for me, I'm turning it into $1 billion, right? So how much, like, it's nothing. It ain't tricking if you got it, right? But to me, it's just so like small-minded and petty, and it's sort of a crabs in a barrel mentality to think, let me not give her anything. But instead, let me even take from her after she's already sacrificed her body, her life, her everything to take care of this of your household. It's kind of ridiculous to me, no?
And speaking of her body, she is a model. That's
wow.
her job. She's a model.
So she can't even work anymore. And like in the video,
she had 2 kids in 2 years.
Wow. And like in the video, like the woman said in the video, that once you stop working, you can't just come back into the workforce after you've had a gap of how many years in your resume. But this is even worse. This is a model. Her whole career is her aesthetic, it's her body. So she doesn't really have an option to work again. Right? And so you knew, but my thing with these men, right? You knew the kind of woman that you were chasing. You knew the kind of women that you were chasing. So do right by that woman.
I can't agree more, of course. And what you said, I think, is so crucial. You don't want the children, because his youngest son is not even 1. You don't want them to grow up like in an environment of hatred between the 2 parents. And that's what is toxic right now, and it's sad.
Honestly, yeah, it's toxic, and it's a reason why a lot of millennials are not. I just watched a video this morning about how there are a lot of women. Well, that's another conversation, baby mama culture in America. But there are a lot of millennials or people that just say, "Look, I'm not going to get married. Look, I'm not going to have kids." And you see all these like people on the right wing here in America just like, disrespecting women because of their choice to do that. But we have to see the male accountability and the way that men with money, it's not all men, and unfortunately when men with money, who women naturally are conditioned to want, because they know that a woman is hypergamous because she knows that she's going to have a child, and in the period that she has a child or she's taking care of the children, she wants to make sure her life is maintained at the standard, at the very least the standard that she's used to. So that's why women are naturally hypergamous, right? But in these situations, like, it's difficult for women to see, you know, to want to commit or to want to get married in the Western world, especially when we're hearing in, you know, that men are doing these things. And a lot of people think that in the Western world, you know, women get half, the system is on our side. But like, just a stone throw away in the developing world, which like a lot of us still have access to and still get information from, women are being abused, and it's still, you know, in the past. So I think men have abused power. Okay, I was explaining how not all men, but specifically men with money, have abused that power and given all men a bad reputation. So a lot of women are looking at men as trash, but it's really maybe it's the 1% of men or the 10% of men that are trash. Not all, but you know what I mean, that abuse this power, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I completely disagree with all the bros that are like, oh yeah, my bro, like with what Hakimi has done of putting everything in his name, because for the reasons that you've just mentioned, and also like you married her, and like this is obviously a weird situation because he obviously hasn't trusted her since the beginning. Why have you been putting all your assets in your mother's account? Like, why did you marry this woman? But like, you're on the fence of, do I trust her? Do I not trust her? I put everything in my mom's name. It's just,
I mean, okay. First of all, I would say trust no one. That's why we put money in a trust. This is literally called a trust for a reason.
Trust, yeah.
The thing I trust, right? Trust nobody. But the way he went about it's all slimy and sneaky.
It's slimy.
And so, yeah, that's what it shows, that he really didn't trust her in the first place. And he was doing some sort of makeshift way of creating a trust instead of doing it the proper way. There are systems in place that actually can protect you and your money. But being unaware of it, thinking primitively, you know, in these ways, he went and did some sort of makeshift way that might actually make him worse off than he started out. So it would actually be really funny if his mother dies. I mean, God forbid, right? But if his mother dies and we hear that he's fighting with his siblings for that money, it will just be a lesson that, guys, this is not the way to go about it.
Yeah, let's see what the bros will be saying then. But you know, Kenim, this happens so much with professional athletes from, I don't know about the NFL, but like basketball players and football players, because they're people that usually come from underprivileged backgrounds. You can see that especially in Brazilian players, and suddenly they have millions of dollars and euros thrown at them, and that they're responsible of, and they don't have the necessary education, surroundings, advice to be like well-grounded. That's the word. They're not well-grounded. So by 30, they're broke. I mean, famously, Ronaldinho, maybe one of the best football players to have ever played the game, like, they just party and then they go to jail, or I'm sorry, but they have children left and right.
Jesus.
And they just...
She said they go to jail.
Pardon?
What? No, I'm just laughing at what you said.
No, because sometimes they do, because like they do something silly, or they drive drunk, or they whatever, and they're paying people left and right, and they're badly advised, and they just lose. They just make bad decisions.
Well, I mean, you're a product of your environment, and a lot of these people, they're coming from, I'm sorry to say it, but the hood or wherever, the slums of wherever they're from. And so, of course, they're going to go back and integrate with the community they're raised into and do some nonsense. I'm trying to find this story that I saw, and it was a footballer, and I think it was an African footballer. He moved to whatever European city it was, married a white woman, was playing football. He was illiterate. The woman put all the assets in her name. So when they divorced, he got nothing. And guess what? He went back to his wife in Africa. He had two kids with this woman, the white woman in Europe.
You see, it's sad because they become footballers and they have the fame, but nobody takes care of like the background of, they're just kind of left to their own devices. Like, okay, here are your millions, here are your salary, and then you lose your mind. It's normal. It's normal that when you're coming from a favela in Brazil to have millions and you lose your shit. Sorry for my language, but you do. And you are not well, they're a product of their surrounding, and their surrounding is usually not great. They keep their friends from before, which is not a bad thing, but they're just badly advised.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a shame. That's why I've made this channel, to just give people an education of the business, behind entertainment. I guess sports is kind of in entertainment. It is, I guess. And so, guys, click the link down below. I have a list of books that you guys should read. You can listen to it on Audible, and it will just sort of give you some financial literacy, so you have some sort of base, so that people won't take you on a ride. Because let me tell you something: if you give anybody the opportunity to cheat you, they will take it. Just live by that rule. Some people are going to be good. Let's say maybe about 70% of the time, people will not take you on a ride. But why even give the 25% an opportunity, Learn, you have to control your money, and you have to educate yourself on your money. Nobody's going to make you rich. Only you can make you rich, and only you can keep you rich. Anyone that says, come and invest in this business, come and do this, what is their commission? They're doing it because they're going to make money. They're going to do it because they're going to make money first with your money. You have to make money first with your money. You have to control your money. And a lot of financial advisors are going to hate you for me telling you this. They're going to be upset. They're going to be agitated on that phone call when they're trying to convert you. And you just look at them. But read these books, and I kid you not, you're going to look at the world differently, and you're going to look at money differently, and you're not going to let people take you on a ride.
And by the way, I think between me and you, there is no way that Hakimi's mom did not know what he was doing. It was probably even her idea to protect him from hers, because okay, he got married when he was 19 to a woman that's 12 years older than him, and he was already very famous at 19 and making a lot of money. And I think his mom probably was like, okay, this is a weird situation, let's find a way to protect you. His wife won't agree to sign a prenup, maybe, okay, so let's do this. There is no way she did not know. No way.
So here's my thing though. Is your mother, you're going to, I know mothers are great and stuff, mothers are great, but don't trust anybody with your money. Just because your mom loves you doesn't mean that she's going to handle your money right. The way that you have to be in control of your money. So even the fact that he transitioned the power from his mother to his wife who he has kids with, the wife is always going to be in your life anyway, right? But I just feel as though that was also stupid. You're transferring the power from one person to another person who can still exploit you.
Exactly, and he doesn't have to do that. I mean, we all know the story of Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone, whose parents blew all his money before he turned 18.
There's so many stories that basically everyone in the industry that was a child star, their parents exploited them for their money. Even Pressure P, I don't know if you know the rapper from Pretty Ricky, talked about how all of Pretty Ricky, the dad took all the money. He only would give them maybe $20, $100 here and there. Even B2K, even NSYNC, give them little money here and there to appear like they have money, or give them all the cars and stuff they can drive around. But the dad took all the money, he controlled all the money, and guess what? He ran the money down and blew it all, and they all got broke. So as much as mothers do this too, fathers do this too. So the only mind that you can equip when it comes to financial literacy is your own mind. The only way that you can protect yourself, you have to protect yourself. And reading books is sharpening a knife, sharpening your mind, making you just know how to navigate this world. But hey, thanks for coming on, Tatiana. It's always great to have you.
Thank you so much.
Well, there you have it. What do you think? Is it a smart idea or is it a dumb idea? Was he smart or was he stupid? What are your thoughts? Leave a comment down below. You're watching Brand Video Pro, and I'm your host, Kenna Mo. And I'll see you in the next one. Signing off. A peace.